Welcome to the new year. Happy New Year. And let's get right into the new updates for CrewAI. Now, the first one I want to talk about, this actually did happen in December. I just didn't talk about it yet, is they removed langchain from the framework. And thank God I am happy about that. I don't want to say I hate langchain, but I'm also never going to say that I enjoy using langchain. And I'm not going to get into those reasons, but this is probably honestly helpful for them so they don't have to keep updating whatever langchain is doing with their framework so it doesn't break anything. So that's there. They added knowledge to the agent level. So if you didn't know, there's a knowledge sources parameter at the crew where you can give it like a text file, CSV file, or other file types. And then you can use that, they can use that knowledge as like a knowledge source to then perform whatever task or whatever that agent needs to do. However, it didn't quite work exactly here. So in the later updates, they have fixed that. So if you tried it, it didn't work, it now does work properly. Now let's get into the updates from just a few days ago. They added quite a few features. So the first one is they've added multimodal abilities to the crew. They added something called programmatic guardrails, which I will get into. HITL multiple rounds. That just basically means human in the loop multiple rounds. Okay. They have Gemini 2.0 support, improvements to CrewAI flows, workflow permissions, added support for LangFuse with Light LLM. If you didn't know, Light LLM is used in the background for integration support for all the different types of AI model providers. Now there's Portkey integration, which is new with CrewAI. We'll go over an example. Then they're basically improved error handling. And these last two I really like is Docklink support and Weaviate support. Weaviate support is an AI vector database. I created a full stack app with CrewAI, Bolt, and Weaviate, which I have a link for, and I absolutely love using Weaviate. So I'm really happy that there is support for it natively with CrewAI now. And then with Docklink, let's go look at Docklink really quick. Basically what this does is it reads popular document formats such as PDF, Doc, PowerPoint, CSV, images, HTML, I think even ASCII and Markdown. And what it does, you run it through this repository with just a few lines of code, and it can output it in either HTML, JSON, or Markdown. It really became popular. All of a sudden, it just showed up on my LinkedIn, and I'm going to make a separate video with example cases using this, but is really popular, and I would recommend trying it out. And now it is integrated natively with CrewAI. And then they have a bunch of different fixes here. The one that I will say that I think is really helpful, and I've seen people actually have this issue, is this add TikToken as an explicit dependency in document Rust requirement, right? This is this right here. I think I've seen people have issues with it. This kind of shows up, but adding it as like it needed dependency in order to get something to work, I think is really helpful. Now, a couple of those I want to dive into a little bit more. And the first one is the task guardrails. Well, task guardrails provide a way to validate and transform task outputs before they are passed to the next task, right? So if you weren't sure, when an agent is completed a task, whatever the next task is, the output from that one is going to be used as context for the next one, right? So it's going to help validate and transform and make sure those outputs are, before they're valid before they go on to the next one. And now that gives us a way to programmatically determine and make sure that it is valid. So it helps ensure data quality and provides feedback to the agents when their output doesn't meet specific criteria. So here is an example, right? So we have this function called validate blog content that takes one parameter, which is just a string. So this can be some blog post that you have created. Now you're going to insert it into this function to test that whole string of blog content, make sure it's valid. Now what's happening here is it has to return a tuple, right? I'll go over that in a second, but it's trying to gets the word count of whatever the blog post is. So let's say the word count, it finds it's like 1,000. Well, this if statement says if the word count is greater than 200, in this case it's 1,000, we're going to return false. And then this right here is a dictionary. So we're returning, but this whole return is called a tuple in Python. So this tuple says, hey, we have to have a Boolean, which is the false, so it's going to be true or false. And then this union of a dictionary and a string. This is saying, it can be either just a string or it can be a dictionary. And in this case, it's a dictionary. So we have the error that says, hey, this is actually exceeds 200 words. This is an error, and that's what it's going to return. Otherwise, let's say the word count was 150. It's less than 200, so it skips this if statement and we just return true, and then it basically just returns that result. Okay, so that means that if it returns true, this was great, but we just had to validate that through this blog content function, but it was validated, right? And then what is going to happen, and I'll go down this in just a second, if it was false, it's going to give it back to the agent and it's going to try to somehow fix that. How we add this in is we have the name of the validate blog content in the task object. Whenever you're creating your agent the task, you just add this new parameter called guardrail and then give it that function. The functions can only accept one parameter, which is the previous task output. It should return a tuple, like I just mentioned, and don't worry, you don't have to worry about type hints. All right, so it's either success or failure. Basically, it's either true or false that it's going to return. Okay, so how does this work, right? The error, when a guardrail returns false with the error is sent back to the agent. The agent attempts to fix the issue, and this process repeats either until the guardrail returns true or the maximum retries has been reached. How do we, do the retries? Well, let's say we, have the same validate output, right? Well, this is a different function. This is a validating JSON, but let's say it keeps failing. Well, you have a max underscore retries in the task object, and you set this to 3 times. So if this fails 3 times, then this crew is probably just going to fail. You could have something else that maybe routes this if it was a failure to do something else, log it, whatever that may be. But this is really cool because let's say you are creating a Twitter post. Myself, I don't pay for it, so I have 140 characters of the maximum that I can use. If I want to create a social media blog content through multiple agents, well, this would be something I would validate against. And if it wasn't, then I would hope that it would try to rewrite it for just a Twitter post to make sure that's under 140 characters. And then finally, I can know for sure once it goes through this validate blog content function or guardrail, then it's fine. And then further down in the documents, they have like some common use cases. So data format validation, content filtering, data transformation. You can actually chain multiple validations together, which I think is pretty cool. So in the guardrail parameter, they have a chain validations function, it looks like it's a function that takes in multiple different guardrails, and then it'll just iterate through each of those. And the next one I wanted to go into was Portkey. Okay, so what is Portkey? Well, it's 2 extra lines of code to make your CrewAI agents reliable, cost efficient, and fast. All right, it adds 4 core production capabilities to any agent. So it can route to 200 plus LLMs, making them more robust. It has full stack tracing and cost, performance analytics, and real-time guardrails to enforce a specific behavior. Okay, let's first off go up how you use this and then kind of what Portkey is and how it can be helpful. Well, the first thing is you just have to install the library for Portkey-AI. And there are 2 things you need. Is you go to Portkey app, you'll sign up for that, get your copy of a Portkey API key. And then you have these things called virtual keys. So these securely manage your LLM API keys in one place. So you can store your LLM provider API keys securely in their vault. So whenever you go to create an LLM, and how I create LLMs, or how I like to create LLMs, unless I'm just using OpenAI, is you import the LLM object or the LLM class from CrewAI. You're going to create that LLM. You can give it the model, the base URL, so the Portkey gateway URL, which you'll be given, the API key, which is you just put something in here because we're not actually using that parameter if you're using Portkey. So you have these extra headers. You're going to just, this is the parameter extra headers. We're going to create headers, and we're going to basically, what you need to know here is the API key, which is the Portkey API key, which is when you sign up, you'll get that. And the virtual key, you also get that from Portkey, but that will be the virtual key for that LLM provider. And to give you a quick example of how this works is whenever you log into Portkey, you sign up, you're going to be given your own API key here, right? Your Portkey API key. So this is what is by default. What you're then going to do is here you can create a virtual key. So let me edit this. I'm going to create a new virtual key, and you can select from any provider here, right? First time you'll just select one. You're going to select any provider here that they offer. So I chose OpenAI. Now you're going to enter your API key here. So I can just type in something random here. It doesn't matter. Whatever my API key is here. So I'm going to say generate virtual key. Well, now the virtual key that I have for that OpenAI API key is this. So then you're basically going to be copying these two fields, the API key and the virtual key, into let's see, right here into this LM example. And so now instead of explicitly giving your API key here, then it will go through that gateway. And then within Portkey, like I said, they have observability. They have a way to have logs, tracing, analytics, feedback from how much you're using, and anything else, right? They have guardrails. There's a prompt library. There's so much that you can do here. I would recommend looking into this, but that is a quick example of how you would use it. And then lastly, I just want to say that overall that they've always update the documentation. So the docs.crewai.com, always come in here and check. They're really updating this. There have been a lot of recent updates to it, such as here's agent monitoring with OpenLip. Here's some examples for the guardrails that I talked about and Portkey. And there are other things in here, but they're always updating it and making it a little bit better. So you can come in here and look at some examples of how to use these. These docs have always improved, so I really recommend checking this out. Okay, so that's it for all the CrewAI updates. I hope you enjoyed that and you learned something from that. I really recommend updating it and trying some of these things out because they really fixed some things such as the knowledge sources that I mentioned. But if you really want to learn how to create AI agents, then join my community down below with other like-minded people who are also trying to learn how to build AI agents for their company, for the business, for their personal life. But it can be with code or even some no-code automation process as well, where we can integrate CrewAI into that. The link is in the description, and I'm also offering a 7-day free trial right now. So at least give it a try, but I promise you that you'll find the value and that I will be able to help you in whatever it is that you need to do. Thank you. I'll see you next video.